Good morning. This is cause number, good afternoon. This is cause number 2020-24024 in the interest of Michael Tompkins. All parties, please raise your right hands to be sworn. Mr. Tompkins, please unmute yourself. Okay. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Ma'am?
I do.
All right. Ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Hannah Gore, and I'm his mother.
Sir, your name and your relationship to the child.
William Harold Tompkins II, and he's my son. I'm the father.
And for the state.
Tarday Parker, Your Honor.
And we have original petition and a suit affecting parent-child relationship. We're having a hearing, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do we have any stipulations?
Yes, we do, Your Honor. We stipulate to the.
Let's read those into the record, please.
Okay. The parties will be joint managing conservators, with the mother having the right to determine the primary residence without a geographic restriction. They agree to a standard possession order, and that Mr. Tompkins provides medical insurance through another source in the amount of $240 per month. And they also have agreed to giving him a credit towards the back pay in the amount of $2,995.
Okay. And the issue is?
The issue is the amount of child support. And then once we know the amount of child support, then we can also determine the retro, Your Honor.
All right, let's proceed. So we have retroactive as an issue also.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right. So far, is that your agreement, Ms. Gore?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tompkins?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's proceed then. The only issue being the amount of child support Mr. Tompkins is to pay and the amount that he owes, if any, for retroactive child support judgment. Is that correct, Ms. Parker?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's proceed.
Your Honor, the state would like to call Mr. Tompkins.
All right.
Mr. Tompkins, you are the father of Michael Tompkins, correct?
Correct.
And when you were in the hospital, do you remember signing an ALP?
Yes, we weren't in a hospital, but yes, we were at a birthing center.
Okay, but you remember signing an ALP at a birthing center, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to share my screen now so I can show him our exhibit A. I'm going to ask him the questions to enter it, but I'd like to share my screen now to show him that.
All right.
Mr. Tompkins, do you recognize this document?
I do.
And what is it?
It's my 2019 tax return.
And were these records made near or at the time that you filed your tax return?
Correct.
And do you keep these records in the ordinary and regular course of your business activities?
I do electronically.
Yes.
So.
And do you have personal knowledge of what's described in this tax return?
I mean, I have not line by line, but I have a good idea of what's in there.
And are these documents true and accurate copies of the original, this tax return that I'm sharing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, the state asks to admit State's Exhibit A.
Any objections, Ms. Gore?
To what Mr. Tompkins said?
No, to the admission of State's Exhibit A. Have you had an opportunity to view it?
I have.
Do
I
you
have
have
not.
any, you have any objections, legal objections of me admitted into evidence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibit A is admitted.
All right. Now, Mr. Tompkins, I'm going to refer you to, sorry, I'm scrolling there. Just give me a second. To page 5, it says your business income, and we're on line 3. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on, let me see where.
Page 5, section 3, Your Honor.
Page 5.
Yes.
Which schedule?
It's the Schedule 1.
The 1040,
Yes.
page 2. Schedule 1. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, yes. Okay. It's actually, yeah. Can you see it on the screen, Your Honor? This is the page I'm looking at. Additional adjustments and
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. Line 3. And what does that say, Mr. Tompkins?
On line 3, $43,142.
And when I spoke with you previously, is that the amount that I used to calculate the child support?
I believe so.
And if we scroll down, sorry. And did I tell you that your child support amount would be $517 per month, correct?
Correct.
And then I told you based on the setting of the child support at $517 per month, the back pay, the total amount would have been $5,560, correct?
That was the total amount or the
Well,
back?
that was the total amount before we subtracted your credit. Yes. And after we subtracted your credit of $2,995, it would have been $2,565. That's what I told you, correct?
Correct.
And if we look on, it's page 7, but if on yours, Your Honor, if you look at the profit and loss from the business, that's what page I'm on right now currently.
All right. I've got that.
Okay, if you look at your gross income, which is line number 7 for your business, how much was that?
$94,144.
And then after that, the next section is your expenses, correct?
Correct.
You took an expense of $12,000 for advertising, correct?
Correct.
What type of advertising do you do?
So that would have been websites, like for instance, recruiting websites. That would have also been recruiting, a Facebook ads. That would have been multiple different streams. It could have been advertising in the form of paying a person to recruit through social media.
Okay, and would that be a necessary business expense for you?
So one thing that I wanted to say, because I didn't say it, is I actually
Mr. Tompkins, objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
So sustain. Listen to the question, sir, and just answer the question. I'll give you an opportunity to say something later, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tompkins, in your opinion, is $12,000 for advertising, is that a necessary business expense for you?
Yes.
Okay, and also if we look down at line 27A, it says you had other expenses in the amount of $27,600, correct?
Correct.
And your total profit from your business was $42,100. $142 according to this, correct?
Correct.
And then if we scroll down to the next page, where it starts at part 5, where it talks about what those $27,600 were for, you said you paid $12,600 for recruiting. That's in addition to the $12,000 you paid for advertising?
Correct.
And you said that part of that advertising was to go towards recruiting, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then you also paid $15,000 for a payment to trainees.
Correct.
And did you receive any income from these trainees?
I receive overrides on their business if they succeed, which is included in my file.
And do all life insurance agencies or people who own, do they all pay their trainees?
The answer to that would be no. I can only speak for the one that I worked for at that time, and the answer was yes.
Okay. And the recruiting, what is that? What exactly is entailed in that $12,600? What are you spending that on?
So weekly recruiters, so they would have data, resumes from Indeed and job boards, and their job would be to make phone calls on a daily basis to bring people in for interviews. That's the main piece. Other pieces would be, like I said, websites and stuff like that. But
Okay.
mainly that is people that I paid to make phone calls to potential recruits.
They're called cold calls. Is that what that's called?
They're not cold calls, sir, because these are people that are looking for employment.
Okay.
But
So you pay these people to follow up on leads, correct?
correct.
And is this something that at any time you did yourself?
I did when time allowed, but not very often.
Okay. And you also have a rental property, correct?
That is correct.
And last year you said you received $1,000 in rent, correct?
Correct.
And this year, do you know how much you've received in rent this year?
Probably 5 times 700, about $3,500.
That is the
That's
total.
not counting the expenses.
Okay. So you're saying that you're only getting $700 a month for rent.
720.
$720 a month. And how many rental properties do you have?
I have three rental properties, but only one is rented out. I don't rent them. In fact, they're up for sale right now.
So they're up for sale right now, but you currently have one property that's occupied. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And they pay you $720 a month, correct?
That's correct. Month to month.
Okay. And how many months was it occupied this year?
So far this year, counting this month as a full month, 5 months.
Okay. And you don't do weekend rentals or anything like that. You only do monthly rentals, correct?
I don't mess with, I used to do weekly, but I don't anymore.
Okay. And then if we go to, sorry. Your Honor, this is page 10 when I'm looking at it on my computer screen. I'm not really sure what page it would be. This is the top of it. Oh, section B, long schedule SE, part 1.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
No problem, Your Honor.
What schedule?
Schedule B, long section SE.
B as in baby.
B as in baby, Your Honor.
All right, hold on. Let's see, I got schedule 1, I got schedule 2, I got schedule C, got schedule E. I've got qualified business income deduction.
Oh, no, it's section B, Your Honor. Sorry, did I say schedule B? It's section B. I'm sorry.
What's okay? Which schedule?
It just says long schedule SE.
All right, hold on a second. Okay, I've got it.
Okay, and if you look at line 7, Mr. Tompkins, it said your maximum combined wages and self-employment earnings from last year was $132,000, $132,900, correct?
Correct.
And you said you took qualified business losses or qualified business income of $40,094, or
Correct.
okay. Your Honor, the state has no further questions for this witness.
All right, Miss Gore, do you have any questions for Mr. Tompkins?
I do.
All right.
So I first had the question for whoever wants to answer it. If I review this document and nowhere on it is a signature, so I'm confused as to if it's even a valid document. That's
So that you're asking Mr. Tompkins that question, is that correct?
sure.
Yeah,
Mr.
that is the tax form that I filed electronically.
And you don't have to e-sign or anything to file your taxes, because I did. But there's no signature.
Okay, hold on, just one question at a time.
That is a signed cop. That those taxes have been signed as you see them on the screen.
Okay. And so you and I were together in 2019. So I have a little bit of knowledge about how you did recruiting. And I'm confused as to how you paid. Advertising is included in recruiting, right?
Some of it. I mean, you were there when I borrowed money from my parents, so you know what the finances look like.
Your Honor, objection non-responsive.
Okay, do you have a question, Ms. Gore?
Yes, I also wanted to know if you're claiming that you borrowed how much from your parents?
Probably over the course of the year, $6,000.
Okay. Is that reported anywhere in your earnings or income as a gift? $6,000 is a lot of money.
No, that's a loan that I got from my parents, so we could stay in the house that we lived in.
Okay. And to that money that you paid for recruiting, how much of it was to me that stayed in the house?
I would honestly, we would have to look at your tax form because I don't know what you claimed, but I would say that it was probably over $10,000.
Okay. So that's money that still stayed within our household, but you deducted it like it wasn't income for your household.
It was a business expense. If I pay you to recruit, it's no different than paying Joe off the street.
And then I also want to know, can you recruit yourself?
Of course, I do all the time. when time allows.
Okay. And in order to sell life insurance and make sales, and make income by selling, do you have to recruit?
Absolutely. For the type of insurance, I run an agency. I'm not just a life insurance salesman.
So you cannot sell life insurance without recruiting.
Well, if I want to be a life insurance salesman, yes. If I want to be a life insurance agency owner, no.
Which is your choice.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then the 15, I mean, to me, these numbers, I think it's kind of weird that for recruiting, it's $12,600 for trainees, which who knows how many you had. And it just so happens to be the perfectly even number of $15,000 that you paid them over the course of a year. And that's a necessary business expense. You cannot make it in the life insurance business without paying a trainee.
I don't know what the question is you're asking. Like I
I'm
said,
asking.
the company that I worked for, we paid trainees out of our pocket.
Okay, but you had to do that in order to be employed there and make money.
Absolutely. That was part of when I hired somebody, the agency owner told them what we were going to do, and I honored that. If we told somebody we were going to pay them $500 or $1,000 when we trained them, that's what we did.
It wasn't a choice of yours.
Well, if I wanted to continue employment with them, no.
Okay, that's weird because I also worked at American Income.
Ma'am, you're right now, you're just asking questions. You're not making statements. I'll let you make a statement later on.
Okay. I also would like to know if any winnings that you had from the casino for last year or this year were reported in your earnings.
From the casino last year, win-loss statement, I did not because I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't think they were in there because it was an insignificant amount of money. So my win-loss statement, I do not think is in there
For last year?
for last year.
What about for this year? Did you provide that information?
There is no win-loss statement.
You didn't a few months ago win $1,000 at the casino and post it on your Snapchat?
I posted $1,000 on a Snapchat, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it came from a win. But I mean, is that relevant?
It's earnings. It's your income.
Okay, you have another question, Ms. Gore?
No, I guess that's it. Oh, wait, I have one more question.
All right.
Whenever we were in the mediation before we came in here, you said that you have a tenant at your property, but that you pay all of the bills there. So I guess I'm confused on, like, I've never lived in an apartment where my landlord paid all of my utilities and my cable and everything. So could you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. It's I rent to people that don't live there, so their option is to go to a hotel or they can stay at my place. I have them staying at my place. In order to do that, I pay for their electricity. I don't have it's a month-to-month rental. It's not a lease like a traditional lease where somebody's committing to 12 months to 2 years.
Okay. That's all my questions.
All right, Ms. Parker, call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Hannah Gore.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Gore, you're asking for back pay from February 1st until today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Of what year?
2020, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Ms. Gore, you also are employed or were employed in the life insurance agency, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And in your opinion, is $12,600 for recruiting, is that a reasonable and necessary business expense?
What was the number?
The $12,600 for the recruiting?
No, ma'am.
And to your knowledge, people can and do recruit for themselves, correct?
I've personally done it very successfully
Do you
while I
want,
work
Ms.
full
Parker,
time.
you want to take this Exhibit A off the screen and bring
Oh,
it back
yes, Your Honor, I'm
closer?
sorry.
All right. Go ahead.
And also the $12,000 for advertising and the $12,600 for recruiting. Your contention that the 12,000 for advertising is included in the 12,600 for recruiting, is your contention that they're basically the same thing?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you were living together in 2019, were you aware of him paying trainees?
Yes.
Yes. And in your opinion, is that a reasonable and necessary business expense?
No.
Why not?
In my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, what I personally do in the business is I go write business myself. Mr. Tompkins, what I witnessed him do is he would put out money to trainees in the hopes that they would go make money and he wouldn't have to work. So it's a different way of going about the business, to try to lessen the workload on yourself, but it's absolutely not a requirement or a necessity.
And you yourself do not conduct business that way, correct?
Right.
And why don't you?
As far as paying trainees,
Paying as far as recruiting and average, as far as that, why don't you do that?
because it's something that I can do myself. The recruiting, I can do that myself, and that money can be spent on my child. And I can recruit from my cell phone at home while I'm spending time with him. So that's my priority. And as far as the trainees, the way that I do business, we take somebody out. We're independent contractors, so it's your own choice, and you can take somebody out for 2 days and show them how to do the business and not pay them. They're independent contractors. You don't have that requirement.
Okay.
And that's nowhere in any of our contracts
Okay.
that it's a requirement.
Thank you, Ms. Gore. Your Honor, I have no for her.
I'm sorry?
I said I have no further questions for her.
Pass the witness. Mr. Tompkins, you need to unmute yourself. Do you have any questions for Ms. Gore?
No, sir.
Okay. Any further witnesses, Ms. Parker?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Gore, do you have any witnesses you wish to present?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Tompkins, do you have any witnesses you wish to present?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Do we have Ms. Gore? Do you have anything further you wish to say? As the final, as the closing argument here.
Yes, Your Honor. I would just like to say that, I said earlier in the mediation that these expenses that on the prepared return, they look to be made up numbers that are just rounded 15,000, 12,000. And I, as the custodial primary parent, I don't have the choice of of paying other people to do things for me instead of supporting my son. I don't have that choice. And I'm not trying to take Mr. Tompkins for everything that he has. I'm just asking him to be held to the same level of accountability that I am as a parent. And I think that that's fair.
All right, Mr. Tompkins, do you have anything by way of final argument here, sir?
The only thing that I'll say, Your Honor, is that I will take care of my son. The differences between the way she runs her business and the way I run my business, we have different outlooks on life. My son will be and always is a priority. The fact that I have made payments since COVID without any order or agreement and continue to keep medical coverage on my son while unemployed, not collecting unemployment, but trying to get another job, shows that I'm going to take care of my son. That's all.
Ms. Parker.
Your Honor, the state just asked that you determine the child support in the best interest of the child, Your Honor.
Really, there wasn't any questioning about the retroactive child support.
Well, Your Honor, I did ask her for the retroactive child support.
That was it. You know.
Well, and then I did ask him in regards to what we had discussed would be the retroactive child support amount on the 517 and subtracting the 2,990 credit that he was to receive.
Well, is that something that you agree with, Ms. Gore? The time period and what he has contributed so far?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm absolutely willing to give him credit for what he's paid.
All right. All right, the court orders father to pay child support in the amount of $517 a month beginning December 1st, 2020. Retroactive child support judgment was awarded in the amount of $2,565. To be paid at the rate of $75 a month beginning December 1st, 2020. All other stipulations are approved. Anything further, Ms. Parker?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, if you guys can just log back into the previous Zoom, and then we're almost done.
Okay.
Thursday.